Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Success Life Live. My name is Reid. I am your coach, and I'm going to just stick my finger here in the middle of the camera and see if that helps. Anyhow, welcome to Success Life Live. It must be 8 o'clock, or you know what? I got to apologize. I know I'm a minute or so late, but we gather here each and every weekday morning at 8 a.m. Eastern for Success Life Live. Why? Well, David, you know why. Because if we get this mindset, this thinking, this attitude, and these behaviors going in the right direction, we own the day. So take a moment, jump in. Good morning, Sonia. Got it right there. And some of you may know my friend Melanie, Everyday Leaders podcast. It's hot water. I couldn't do coffee. After yesterday, I got like 5 emails. Like, what are you drinking? My gosh, you're on fire. You calm down. So last night was Author Talk at 7 p.m. Hope you got a chance to check it out. We got to talk with Larry, Your Life Matters. Really encouraging book, really talking about the simplicity of understanding that you matter and then moving out of the life you have into the life you want. I'm looking at the notes, and this Friday's Fun Friend Friday guest, Pat Gino. If you are in JMT, you know Pat. If you are a person of faith, you need to know Pat. If you are looking for your word for 2019, you need to be here on Friday with Pat Gino. And then we have upcoming author talks with Eric Kay. Let Me Sell You Something. Finished his book a couple weeks ago, and that's on December 19th. Yeah, I should bring the notes up here so you don't see the top of my head. And then on January 9th for Author Talk, we have Sebastian Richards. And I love this book because it's superheroes, Marvel Comics, DC Comics, and leadership. Couldn't get better. And then tomorrow, like I said, we have Fun Friend Friday at 8 a.m. Eastern with my dear friend Pat. I am so excited. I'm really kind of nervous because Pat is a pillar. Pat is a leader. Pat is a faith builder. She is truly somebody that has lived a long and learned experience, and to get to sit in the room with her and ask her questions, I've actually completely redone the envelopes just for Pat. So make sure you're here for Fun Friend Friday tomorrow at 8 a.m. Eastern. But it is time for Success Life Live for today. And so it was interesting that this topic, and here's the scribble notes on it, came up as a result of speaking with somebody about their purpose. And, so often in this mindset, transformation, entrepreneur, mompreneur, dreampreneur space, in this place where you are beginning to change and develop and grow who you are, to begin to make changes in your life, everybody assumes you have a big why or a purpose or a vision or a mission. And yeah, my voice had to drop to that, newscaster level, that, Morgan Freeman kind of God-sounding thing, because you must have a purpose. And so often, I think as coaches, we assume everybody has a purpose. We just yeah, you got to have your purpose. What is your purpose? What is your vision? What is your mission? What is your goal? What is it? And people on the other side will sometimes be like, purpose? I'm supposed to have a purpose? Oh my gosh, I feel inadequate. Oh my gosh, I can't, I don't have a purpose. I don't have a mission. I don't have a vision. I shouldn't be in this space. I shouldn't be an entrepreneur, a mompreneur, a dreampreneur. I shouldn't be allowed to begin to think that I can change and create my life that I want because I don't have a purpose. And as I talked to somebody about this, and as we were involved in this coaching call, in this consultation call, I realized one thing, that I had always assumed that purpose came. Like you were birthed into your purpose. Like you woke up one day and say, okay, I'm going to transform my life and give me my purpose. And it would come to you. And what I've come to understand and really reflect on is, as my scribble notes sort of indicate, that you can't have a purpose without clarity. It's not purpose gives us clarity. Clarity gives us purpose. And then how do we establish clarity? Well, that begins with self-awareness. So self-awareness gives us clarity that guides us to a purpose. And then, wait a minute, how do I get self-aware? Well, that begins with self-esteem. And so when we have an understanding of who we are, when we have self-esteem, we become self-aware. And that self-awareness brings us clarity about our strengths, about our weaknesses, about our joys, about our happinesses, about the things that make us laugh and the things that make us cry and the things that make us dance. And then that moves us into the purpose. But so often we do it the opposite direction. And I had it sort of sketched out that we start out with purpose and we hope that our purpose will give us clarity about what we're supposed to do. And then as we gain clarity, we'll start to gain success. And that success will start to give us self-esteem, which will drive us more into purpose. And when I realized, when I broke it back out, and I sort of went into that moment of thinking, it says, to thy own self be true. Not to thy own self know your purpose or be purposeful, but to your own self be true. In order for me to have a purpose, in order for me to know my purpose, in order for me to connect to my purpose, I have to know myself. And that knowing of myself begins with understanding who I am, my self-esteem. And so often when we're beginning to make this shift, when we're beginning to make the transformation, when we're beginning to guide our way out of the old life and into the life that we want to have, our self-esteem might be, just barely hanging on. Our confidence might be just barely getting through the day. Our value and our worth might just be enough that we can even get up and look in the mirror. And then to be dumped on with this thing of like, okay, well, you've decided to change your life. What's your purpose? And you're like, oh my gosh, please, come on. I'm just barely able to stand up. And so as a coach, it is my responsibility to meet you where you're at and guide you to where you want to go. Not simply lay out this groundwork, this blueprint, this book that says, well, you've got to have a purpose. And if you don't have a purpose, you can't be in coaching. No. Purpose doesn't happen first. Self-esteem, confidence, awareness does. And so what I've sort of come to know and come to realize, when your purpose isn't permanent, your purpose isn't always and forever the same thing. Our purpose needs to be transformative and growth and flexible. Because when I chose that purpose, when I began this journey, I only knew this much about me, this much about my strengths, this much about my awareness, my situation, and my tools and my resources. So how can I take this little me, this little tiny little me, and understand fully this big fat purpose? No, my purpose and my self-esteem had to be somewhat in alignment. Now, hopefully it was a little bit of a stretch, but I have to know who I am. I have to understand what I have inside me. I have to become aware of my gifts, my talents, my skills, my knowledge, my habits, my behaviors, my resources. And for some people, that purpose might be just to get to the end of the week. Right now, I'm in a domestic abuse situation type of thing, and my purpose is to protect my children, keep them safe, make sure that we have food and clothing and shelter. That is my driving purpose. Because right now, I don't have the tools and the resources and the confidence and the awareness to dream and see my purpose bigger than that. But as a coach, it would be a mistake and a lie for me to go, well, that's not a big enough purpose. I mean, that's not a purpose, that's a goal. No. Your purpose begins, as I sort of doodled and diddled out while I was sitting there thinking about it the other day, that self-awareness is where we begin. We have to have that self-esteem, that when we know who we are, when we are to thy own self be true, then we begin to gain some clarity about, oh, so that's who I am. That's who I am outside of my relationship with my spouse, with my kids, with my parents, with my job. That's who oh, that's really my passion. Oh, that's really my talent. And so now I have a little bit more clarity about who I am and what my skills are and what my talents are. And my self-esteem begins to rise and lift up. And I'm like, you know what? I like me. I kind of can live with me. I think this person has value. This person is somebody I want to see get bigger, do more, lean into life. And then we discover our purpose. And as we begin to move towards our purpose, as we begin to tap into that purpose, we start to see success in our habits and in our goals and in the achievement. And that does what? It shows us ourself again. It reaffirms that self-esteem. And so we gain a little bit of wisdom. We gain a little courage. We gain a little strength to say, you know what? I'm going to open that purpose just a little. I'm going to open that purpose just a little bit more. And we start to grow into our purpose. But so often, and I'm guilty of it, and so I apologize if you felt like I don't have a purpose. I can't hang out in the Success Life group. I don't have this big, overwhelming, earth-shattering, tablet writing kind of purpose. You know what? My apology. Your purpose will be revealed to you as you begin to know yourself better, as you begin to build the self-confidence, the self-esteem, the successes, and the clarity about who you are. Guess what? You'll begin to have a different purpose. You'll begin to see yourself in a different tool. You know, when I ask my son what he wants to be when he grows up and he'll tell me something, I'm like, how is that possible? You know what? Dude, that's like, he doesn't know what he is. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know what his qualities and characteristics are yet. He doesn't know what he can make happen into the world because he's still discovering who he is. So in this journey of success, in this journey of discovery, in this transformation that you're going through, to thy own self be true. Take time out. Say, you know what? I don't know what. If somebody says, well, what's your purpose? What's your mission? What's your vision? What's your mission? You know what you're allowed to tell them? Good morning, Rose. You know what you're allowed to tell them? I'm not sure yet. And if they look at you and their arms get all crossy and they get that scowly look on their face like, well, you don't belong in our club. You're not one of the success-thinking people. You shouldn't be in the leadership book section. Just look at them and go, whatever. It's my journey. And I want my journey to begin with knowing me. I want to know myself so well and so fully, separate of my role as a mom, as a dad, as a wife, as a husband, as a parent, as a child, as an employee. I'm going to know myself so well, and I'm going to know what makes me happy, and I'm going to know what makes me, because once I know that, then I'm going to be clear about what's in my resource bucket. And I'm going to like that person, and then I'm going to start to test that person into the market. And I'm going to be like, you know what? I think my purpose is this. Yeah, that was close. I give it a 75, but it wasn't 100%. And then you may go over here and start to involve yourself in this type of thing, or with these type of peoples, or on this type of mission, and you might be, ooh, that's getting close. I'm feeling that. That's pulling me. Then you're going to invest in more. And soon your purpose will be revealed to you. You know, I think as a person of faith, I think as somebody who sort of looks at the life of Christ, and it's like, it wasn't, his awareness, his purpose, his vision, and his mission was revealed to him through time. It wasn't like he walked in, opened a locker at the bus stop, and there was like, here's your purpose and mission and vision, Christ. Please follow the plan. Turn to page 1. No. He had to discover who he was. He had to understand what his role is. He had to understand his relationship with other people. He had to get to know himself, both spiritually and then physically, or in the human form. And as he did, he became more clear why his purpose was so vital to mankind in history. So if people are giving you the cross-eyed, poopy face, like just because you don't have a purpose, or you don't have a mission, or you don't have a vision, just look at them and go, you know what? I'm okay with it. Coach Eric said, I don't need one. What I need to do is know myself right now. What I need to do is understand who I am right now. What I want to do is get to me first. And once I got me right, once I kind of like, who I am, and I'm solid with that, I'll have a little more clarity. And with a little more clarity, I'll make a better definitive purpose about what I want to do with my life. And I'm going to be flexible with my purpose. Now, my overriding goal, mission, vision, statement, whatever you want to call it, because they're all interchangeable at some level. Was given to me, was forced upon me. Suzanne Nickel, who was a coach that I had almost 15 years ago, which is actually the same overriding mantra for my life. She gave me that. Go write your mission, go write your vision, go write your thing. I was starting in the real estate career. Everybody comes in, they're like, why are you in real estate? And everybody writes down, to pay off debt, to pay for my college career, whatever. And because she saw something maybe a little bit deeper in me, a little bit bigger in me, or maybe she was just being her, and I say that with love, she was like, Eric, don't write down to earn 100,000. Really? That's all you want your life to accomplish? That's all that you want from this? I was like, okay. So I took my little notepad and went back, came back a couple weeks later, and I showed it to her again. And I thought, man, I really dug in this time. She's like, no, it's not good enough. Go again. I was like, oh, lordy. I was supposed to be selling houses, and I'm stuck trying to figure out this, why am I doing it? This big why thing. I don't see that on my signs. But I leaned in and I listened to her because I could tell that she was really trying to invest in me. And so after what felt like a lifetime, but probably was closer to a month, 6 weeks, I came back and I said, okay, this is like my best and last try. I'm about to give up on real estate and having a purpose, mission, and vision. And she said, well, tell me what it is. And I said, to have the tools and resources necessary to be of service to people when asked. She said, good enough. I was like, you don't want to discuss it? She said, it sounds like you know what it means. I said, well, I feel like I get to tell you about it because I've been working on it and you just can't give me an A without knowing why. So to have the tools and resources necessary to be of service to people when asked. At one point, the tools and resources looked like money, and then it began to be connections, and then it began to be time, and then it began to be knowledge and wisdom. To be of service meant that I didn't have to force my agenda, force my perspective, force whatever it was. Like I wasn't carrying it. Because to be of service when asked meant that I had to always be open and ready and willing to be of service when asked based on the tools and resources that I had at my disposal. And that my mission, vision, purpose every day was to grow my resources. And so by growing my resources, more people could come to me and ask me, and I could be of service to many more. And so each day I still try and grow my resources, whether it's through learning, through finances, through times, through connections, through experiences, through knowledge. I am a resource gathering crazy man because I know that my purpose is to have resources available to others when asked. And as time has evolved, I've come to understand that it may be you, Peggy, asking. It may be a friend asking on behalf of Peggy, or it may be divine asking me to step in to Peggy. So to have the tools and resources necessary to be of service to others when asked. Now, that didn't come to me in the first draft. That wasn't the same thing. What it felt like in the moment when I wrote it 16 years ago, sitting in a real estate class, was I was thinking that I was going to be the very best realtor. And if I was the very best realtor and had the very best real estate knowledge, then I would have a really good business when people came to ask me to be their realtor. What's happened over time as I've realized and grown into that purpose, mission, vision statement is I can now marry it and mask it on other people and other things. But that didn't happen because somebody said, write down your big why, write down your purpose, write down your vision. And I went and I wrote it down because some moment of clarity and divine angel singing came to me. No, I had to really start going back over and over and over again and find out really what was of value and what meant something to me. And, paying off credit card debt. Yeah, fine. That sounded really good at beginning. Or to be financially free. Or to create a life of independence. But what did that really mean to me? What did that look like to me? What did that feel like to me? How could that continue if the situation, the circumstances, the environment that I was in changed? So if you're struggling, if you feel like you adopted or bought into or borrowed somebody else's purpose and changed or grammar checked or plagiarized somebody else's purpose or vision or mission statement, and it's not fitting right, it's not sitting right, it's not jumping you out of bed in the morning, it's not driving your behaviors and your habits, it's okay. Here's what I can tell you. Let it go. Just take it, and if it's on a sheet of paper, toss it in the trash. If it's on a vision board, throw it in the garbage. If it's been written on, if it's tattooed to your butt, go get it changed to a butterfly and start again. Because if it's not driving your behavior, if it's not guiding your habits, if it's not becoming interwoven into everything that you're doing, it wasn't yours. You didn't take the time to listen in, to know thyself, to be true to thyself. And that's okay. We're not always given permission in this crazy, busy, hectic world to take time out, pull over to the side, and discover our own voice. Discover who we really are. I mean, many of us went from relationship to relationship to relationship, from being a kid to being, engaged, to being a spouse, to being a parent, to being... We've never had a moment where we can say, who am I separate from all of these connections? And that's where the clarity begins. So, in summary, like I said, my scribble notes as I was sitting thinking about it the other day is purpose and passion. How do we get that passion? How do we get that purpose? Clarity is linked to self-esteem. Self-esteem is linked to self-awareness. Self-awareness is linked to success. So when we begin to build that purpose, clarity, self-esteem, purpose, success, it becomes sort of a circle that as we have successes, we begin to have more clarity of what our strengths and our abilities are, which raises our self-esteem, which drives our purpose. That, self-awareness, and then clarity, and I just keep having it, and there's a loop. And what I realized is I kept trying to train and coach people around the idea that purpose started everything. Purpose isn't always the beginning. Purpose might be the end. Purpose might be at the back. Purpose might be in the middle. Who knows? Let's get clarity first. Let's find clarity in our lives. Let's find clarity with our identity. Let's find clarity with our goals and our what wakes us up. Let's find clarity with where we're at. And then let's find clarity of where we want to go, but more important, why we want to go there. And then gain clarity on our ability to achieve that. And then maybe, when it's time, purpose will show up. And if it doesn't, guess what? It's okay. It's okay. Because it doesn't say, to thy own self have a purpose, post it on Facebook. No, it says, to thy own self be true. And so if you can live daily being true to who you are in the moment, in the experience, in the tools and resources you have, I think you're doing okay. All right. So I see so many people jump on that I didn't get to say good morning to. Good morning, Sonia. Good morning, Rose. Good morning, Tanya Mann. Saw a couple other people sneak in on the side. Take a moment, say hello, give a wave, give a shout, give a hello. Just so I know you're in the room. For some reason, Facebook isn't showing me all the little things up there in the corner with the happy faces. Remember, tomorrow morning is Fun Friend Friday with Pat Gino. So really excited about that. Can't wait, can't wait. And then we have Author Talk coming up next week. Whoops, I'm sorry. I just saw something come across my screen. Good morning, Rose. We have Author Talk coming up with Eric and Sebastian. A couple other people have reached out and are sending me galley copies. If you're in the middle of writing a book, or if it's on the process of being published or final edited, but you want to be considered for Author Talk, feel free to get in touch with me. I read galley copies just as easily as I can read a regular book. I do ask that the galley copy come in a printed format, just because, as you can see last night with Larry's book, kind of had a lot of sticky notes and questions to ask him about it, so it's hard to do that on a Kindle. So until tomorrow morning for Success Life Live and Fun Friend Friday with Pat Gino, do me a favor. Let's blow the room up. Let's find 5 people, 3 people, 2 people. I don't care. But get them in the room with you tomorrow for Fun Friend Friday with Pat Gino. And I will see you then at 8 a.m. Eastern. Till the meantime, if you need me as a coach or as a speaker, reach out through my Facebook page or reach out through my website, ericgreid.com. Yes, the blog is up on the Uber experiences. Both 1 and 2 are up there as well. The YouTube, why is it YouTube in my life? YouTube, anyhow, YouTube, I'm going to say it the way I say it. It was an awesome show, thank you. The YouTube channel has a summary of everything, because what I found is with Facebook, it's sometimes hard to scroll through the timeline and find a past Fun Friend Friday or Author Talk or something like that. So you can always go up, hit YouTube, hit follow, hit subscribe, hit whatever, and that way you get updated every time it gets updated over there. Uber. You were going to call it UberTuber. All right. So I appreciate you guys. Go out, make today a success. You are worthy, and it is yours to receive. Bye-bye, everybody.